Welcome back, guys. We are today going to start looking at making the door cards, front kick panels, cargo door covers, rear hatch, long panel inside, and we're using a 3mm MDF sheeting, which is this material here. I'm not sure if you guys in the States are allowed to use MDF anymore because of the whole cancer dust factor. In Australia we can still use it, but I've got a feeling in California anyway, I'm not sure if you can even buy this MDF. It's like a particle board that's crushed together with glue. I think that's how they make it, but I think it was deemed to be cancerous at some point, like probably everything else in the world at the moment. Anyway, that's what we're using, and it's the closest thing to these original cards that you can get. I mean, these ones I've lent them off a mate. I didn't have any door cards for this build, so anyway, we're going to trace them out, use a jigsaw to cut them out. This one here is ready to go. I've actually already drawn the pencil around that one, so that one can go back to my mate. Yeah, we'll trim out a couple more of them and get those done, then we can get them upholstered. I've got to get some material for them, the contact adhesive, and then we basically spray them and stick them on. But anyway, we'll sit back and relax. I'm going to chop some MDF, go and get my mask, put that on. Safety, never takes a holiday. Well, it kind of does at the moment because everything's taken a holiday, but anyway, let's continue. Now, I need to cut these out, and normally I would drill a hole here and then the blade in and go around. However, I'll show you what's wrong with my drill at the moment because it's not in a very good state of mind at the moment. That's the drill. Motor, drill, front half, 1,000 pieces. What's actually wrong with it? The brushes have gone, and I've ordered a new set on eBay, so I'm waiting like $6 for them to come, and they'll obviously go back into here. I can pop the motor back in, put it all together, and then I'll get my drill back. So I don't have a drill, so I'm going to have to come up with a different plan, and I do have an idea. I don't know if it's going to work. But MDF is pretty soft stuff, so I think I can manage to put a hole in it. Let's see how we go. All right, pair of scissors. Let's see. All I'm going to do is just pop it in like this and twist it back and forth. And once it starts, there we go. You can see there, once it starts going in, you just keep turning it. And that should be enough to get the blade in. Let's see how we go. Now what I do want to do here is actually cut on the other side of the line, because I'm going to be adding upholstery, which is going to take up some real estate here. So I don't want to cut on the line, otherwise I'll put the upholstery on and it won't fit. So I'm going to cut it back on that side of the line all the way around. So that's what I'm sort of looking for, about that much. A little bit more. All right, here we go. Ta-da! Now these ones will all get obviously a sand with a bit of, look, probably 120 grit, just to get rid of that little bird edge, and then these need to be rounded. But I'll do that once I start to trial fit them inside the cabin. But that one is done. We can actually just have a quick look, just as a raw thing, and see how it fits. Be interested to see. So we know that that has to go into that little slot, like so. That is, yeah, that is the right way. So you can see it actually does slot. We'll just round that corner off. Cool. Anyway, that'll work. We'll pop him there. Let's get this one done. Same deal. Pop the knife in. That's probably a sharper point. Okay, so the reason I was actually pulsing this back and forth is you don't want to get too much speed, otherwise because you're constantly turning a corner, it's easy to get away and end up ruining your work. So I just keep it on a lowish speed, pulse it, and you can keep up with what you're trying to do. Righto, so that one's done too. Now we need to go and make some measurements where to move this over. Okay guys, so here are the kick panels in position. You can see I've gone and trimmed out the fuse box hole, and you can see where the 1960 version was, and you can see where the 1960 2/3 is. So it's, yeah, they moved it over, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, a little bit of sanding to do, and they're going to be ready to be covered. These ones are going to be getting done in a vinyl, the same colour as the seats, which is a grey, and that was the original colour that the bus came out in. So yeah, I've got to get some of the material from the upholsterer, and I'll end up covering those up, and yeah, get those down on video. And then of course they have these screws that are mounted around in the various positions. But yeah, easy to do. It's not a hard job. It's just, you know, you've got to take your time and, you know, measure a few times. Obviously that one's not completely right because all those cables are, you know, have to be pushed into their positions. But you can see fits pretty good. No real issues. Yeah, so anyway, that bit's all done. We will continue with the project after this. Okay, so what we're going to do now is the hard task of making some door cards or panel cards for the back radius corners there. And they're always a little bit difficult because there's a lot of things going on when you try to bend MDF card into the position. So the easiest way to tackle doing this job, and we're talking about these two panels here, this one here and this one up here that curve into that radius in the corner there. Get yourself some card, some stiff card, and just start placing it in there, and you've just got to keep going over it and over it and over it until you get the right shape, and then you transfer that over to your MDF card. So I'll show you what I've done already out here, and because we're in lockdown I couldn't get any cards, so I had to use some cardboard, and of course it wasn't quite the right thing, but I'll just show you what I've done just so you get the idea. And I just placed that, I mean the shape looks super odd. I just rest this corner here into there like so, like that, and I've gotten my height from here up to there correct. And then what I'll do is I'll bend this in until it comes in on this corner here. Now you can see this radius down the bottom here is perfect. This one's not right. And you can see I actually have to add a section here to join this part and, you know, have that all Mickey Mouse. So I just use this card and I work out through my measurements roughly what it needs to be, and you can see there that's going to work. There'll still be a little bit of fudging with the MDF, but we're close. Like this is pretty close to where it needs to be. So we'll take that over to the MDF, trace it out, and then obviously measure it, add an extra 20-30 mil or ½ inch, and then slowly trim that back as we get it. Now, big problem with MDF is you've got to bend it for this section here. It can be tricky to bend, and obviously you don't want to, you know, bend it too far and then break it. So how I've done it in the past is I'll just wet this area here and soak it in water, which will actually make the MDF a bit more malleable, and then you can press it into position and you know, fingers crossed it goes well. I think I have broken some too, so it's not always a perfect job. I mean, you can buy ABS plastic and use that if you can get it, and transfer your cardboard cutout onto the ABS and do that as well. So really, whatever you've got. I mean, I'm using MDF, 3mm MDF, because it's cheap and you can get plenty of sheets of it. So okay, so you can check out what I've done here. I've just used the MDF. I've put a bit of water on that curved section just there, just with a hose, just to get the MDF a little bit more malleable so you can bend it to get the shapes. But you know, you can see once that's screwed in position and it's got the upholstery vinyl sprayed onto it, it's going to look pretty good. But that's always the tricky one, to get that corner piece in. There is a section below it here, so there's another piece, but that's not as bad. That one really is the hardest part to put in. If I just remove it, I mean, it's just sitting in there with tension right now. If I grab it, it'll just pop out, and you can see how much curve you've got to put in it. It's a fair bit. But yeah, if you wet the MDF, I just used the garden hose and just sprayed it on both sides with a bit of high pressure, and that's enough just to kind of get the water into it, and you're good to go after that. So one little mod that I've done with my 61 bus is I actually put speakers in here. So I welded a couple of little rods across here, and then put a 6x7 speaker in behind this. And a lot of people said to me it couldn't be done. And I proved them wrong. So I'll show you a couple of photos of how I did that. What I ended up doing then is just drilling some perforated holes in the MDF, and once the white perforated vinyl went over it, you couldn't see that there was even a speaker behind it. But it, you know, the sound comes out and there is enough room. You can actually. It's very tight, but you can do it. So that's a nice little, cool little mod to do. But anyway, that's these side pieces. Like I said before, cardboard and just trial and error. You'll find this radius here takes a long time to get that perfect, and the bottom one, so that when you push it in there, it marries up around the edges and gets them perfect. You know, I didn't have it, but some card from a stationery supplier would be, you know, Officeworks, something like that, would be perfect, because you know, you can stuff it up and cut it and go back over it and just get it perfect. So that one's done. I've got that one there to do, these two guys here to do, and that is it for all the door cards in here. The only other section I've got to do is this piece here, which there's a cover piece that goes over the top of the spare tyre cavity, and I've actually made that out of aluminium, made a mould, and I've taken a fiberglass piece off that, so I will at some point show you how I've made that too. Unfortunately, that mould is at my parents' house, and that's outside our 5 kilometre radius where we're allowed to drive to with this lockdown that we're in, so I'll have to wait till we're our restrictions have eased, and then I can go up and get the mould, because I'm going to have to make that part and get it covered. Okay guys, so you can see the other side put in position as well, and obviously you've got to take into account you are going to be wrapping vinyl over it too, so you do normally allow 2 or 3 mil around the edges of it. You can see the wetness, and yeah, just leave it as it is, and it'll be ready to screw in once we've put the vinyl on it. So still waiting for this lockdown to end so I can get the upholstery down here and get this roof lining done. Put the carpet in, put the seats in, put the glass in, and she is out of here. Anyway, we'll put all the door cards out on the ground and just show you what is involved in doing an interior. So just have a look at this. Alright, so there you can see guys, that is pretty much all the interior placed down on the ground. Yeah, there's a fair bit to it in getting all these panels cut out, made, but you know, it's not a hard job if you've got your tools and take your time with your line and your jigsaw. And a lot of the edges where you might be a bit wavy with the jigsaw, you just use a sanding block with a bit of 40 grit on it, and that'll just straighten up if you've done any daggy edges. There you go, that's it all done. So I will catch you in the next video. Cheers guys, and here comes Ziggy. You! Oi! No worries guys, catch you later.